Hello everyone! Welcome to Messy Heart, where we dive deep into troubling accounts and messy relationships, hoping to provide support and advice to those who might seek it. Let's head into our first story. Listen carefully and give us your thoughts on the comments section. Story 1. My ex cheated on me with my best friend and then they lied about it to everyone. I, 18M, was just cheated on by my now ex-boyfriend 19M of 7 months with my now ex-best friend 18F, and I just feel really shit. I will admit before I say anything I am a very insecure person when it comes to relationships and do have some major trust issues and jealousy issues that I am and was working on but just struggle a lot sometimes, so I did act out sometimes due to the horrible ways I was feeling, but never enough in my opinion to deserve what has happened to me. I had been suspicious for a while of the fact that he was cheating on me with her, but also doubted myself so much. He was always being so kind and respectful and would buy me literally anything I asked for, which I now look back at as a guilt thing probably. He had always had some interesting kinks which he would always ask me to do, and I'd always tell him, oh yeah, maybe in the future, even though I had no intention of ever actually doing them, but I was afraid if I denied him on them he would leave me. 2 days before I found out I was cheated on, I had asked him to let me onto his Snapchat account so I could have a peace of mind and stop feeling so anxious that he was doing something behind my back. He said, I don't want to give you it because I know it'd just make you more anxious, which I felt a little hurt by, but thought he'd just be right because I was probably just going to deep something else I found on there. Fast forward 2 days later, and the girl who he had been cheating on me with, my best friend, was refusing to open his snaps in front of me. She would scroll and respond to everyone, but when it came to him she would just scroll past, and I thought that it was super suspicious and weird, so whilst walking home from college I told him that I wanted to look through their messages. He hesitated but agreed, and there saved in chat was the most disgusting, horrific videos I had ever seen, and they were of the specific weird kinks that he had asked me to do. I went home crying and not knowing what to do with my life, and she had the audacity to message me telling me that she accidentally sent them and that she was mad at him for saving them, which I knew was just a huge lie, so I told her that I never wanted to hear from her again and to take him. For the next almost 2 weeks no one believed me or really even reached out to hear my side of the story, which made me feel so crazy that I quit college. Eventually, though, people started asking and realized how much of a liar they both were and finally took my side, but the damage had already been done. Now I'm alone and constantly full of sadness and anxiety, and I just don't know what to do with myself. Thanks if you have read this far, just really needed to get this off my chest. What piece of advice would you give to OP? Let us know down in the comments, and let's move on to our next story. Story 2. I think that I have to break up with my fiancé after he embarrassed me in public over a sandwich. For starters, I think that there's a lot of layers to this situation that makes it feel like this has to be the end. My partner and I have been together for over 9 years, and honestly, the first 4 to 5 years were awesome. I had genuinely never felt this way about anyone in my life, but things started going south after that. I started to realize that he always had an excuse for not helping me cook or clean the house no matter how much I begged and pleaded for help. He started making me feel like going to see my family was inconveniencing him. He makes snide remarks the whole time and just makes the entire trip miserable to the point of me crying. I know it might sound dumb, but I've even started having panic attacks because of how bad he makes the holidays. He doesn't attempt to communicate in a healthy way, and it honestly feels like he waits until the very last moment until he'll apologize if he does. I've been on the last straw mark for a few years now, but I always end up forgiving him because I love him. It's kind of like the saying, when it's great, it's really great, but when it's bad, it's really bad. Okay, so now let's move on to a few days ago when he lost his shit in public over a sandwich. We had the same day off, so we decided to run some errands and go to a sandwich shop for lunch afterwards. Honestly, the first half of the day was great, until it was time for lunch. We walked in and, because it was noon, the place was packed, and unfortunately, there was only one person working, so we had to wait in line for about 20 minutes. Is it frustrating waiting in line that long? Yes, but I tried to make things as positive as I could because I know he gets irritated easily. We kind of overheard the employee tell others in front of us that some ingredients were either out completely or just had gone bad. It honestly could have been because of the hurricane outage the week before. We didn't get hit horribly, but some did lose power, but I'm also not 100% sure on what was going on. Also, for a little backstory, I had an ex that worked at this particular sandwich chain, and he got me onto this sandwich that I've been eating since I was about 18 to 19, and I introduced it to my current fiancé, and we just always get the same thing anytime we go there. So finally, it's our turn and we get everything started. Bread, meat, cheese, and throw it in the toaster. She brings it out and I tell her the next ingredient, lots of spinach. She looks at me and breaks the news that the spinach has gone bad. Bummer. But whatever. It's not the end of the world, right? My fiancé standing next to me goes, "Are you fucking serious? Dude, fuck this shit. She did this shit on purpose. We're fucking leaving. Come on." And then just storms out and leaves me standing in the shop while everyone in the entire place stops and is either watching the situation or is looking uncomfortable. Just think of how you feel when you see a Karen in the wild, but it was my partner. I just want to throw this little side note in here. I have extreme social anxiety as well, and he is absolutely aware of the severity of it. So I'm standing there and quietly tell the employee that he's upset, and I think we might just head out, and she hits me with a "Nah, if you leave." I'm calling the cops. My anxiety gets even worse. The cops, WTF. I look at my phone and my partner has texted me, "Get that food and we're done." The cops and I'm being broken up with? I texted him that he left me in a bad situation and he knows how bad my anxiety is, and then the employee hits me with, "I can't believe you would come in here, know that we're low on ingredients, and then waste the little that we have." I mean, she's right though. I was seriously just going to get lettuce instead of spinach, but now I'm standing there, being threatened by everyone for something that I didn't even do. I get another text from my partner, "Fuck it, find someone else to come and get you." Great, I'm now stranded here. I finish building the sandwiches, pay, and try to hide behind my bag of food, hoping that he's still there, and thankfully, he is. Unfortunately, he decided to take out his anger on me, and for like 15 minutes straight. The whole ride home this man blamed me, told me that I'm not a team player and that I chose my side while screaming at me at the top of his lungs. I was bawling. I haven't spoken to him in like 3 days. He sent me a text about how sorry he was, but I'm feeling fed up with all of it. I also have a family event tomorrow that I guess I can't make because he's got the only vehicle, so I'm going to have to disappoint my family once again. I'm just stressed out and I'm not sure what to do anymore. If you've made it to the end of this, thank you for just letting me vent, and if you have any advice, I would love to hear it. Share your thoughts with us and let's move on to our next story. Story 3. I cheated on my wife. What now? Me, 34F, cheated on my wife, 31F. Together 11 years, married for 5, I went out with a coworker one night, 27F. We had this insane connection. I didn't even think she was into girls. A week after we went out, we were talking and sitting in her car when I asked her if she had been with women before. I thought she was straight. She in fact had. Some point towards the end of the night we kissed, and it was wow. After that we were texting and talking on the phone daily. I'd see her on the weekends whenever I got a chance. Went to her app multiple times. We never had sex though. My wife has my location, and when I came home one night she asked me where I was and I told her. She was actually very forgiving and willing to work on things, and I even quit my job. But at this point I'm heartbroken after having to end things with this other girl. About a week passed and I reached out to her again. We had dinner and sat in her car for hours. My wife knew the next morning, and now trust is definitely broken. We both signed up for therapy and were reading relationship books together. I can't get this girl out of my mind. Everything reminds me of her. I even brought up divorce with my wife. She wants to work on things but is very distrusting right now. I'm afraid I'm only working on things out of guilt for the time we have together, and the fact I didn't tell her about the things I was unhappy about in our marriage until it was too late. So now I feel like I owe it to us to try to mend things, but my heart is so checked out from this marriage. I feel like this other girl could genuinely be my soulmate. Either way, my heart is breaking for both these women. What to do? Also, staying out of financial obligation to not breaking our lease. She would have to move back home, and that's not the best option. I still love my wife, but I don't think I'm in love with her. I know love is a choice. The other girl has been gracious enough to step back and let me work on my marriage without her as a distraction, but she's all I think about. Help, please. Any advice? How about that one? Let us have your thoughts and advice down in the comments section. Thank you for watching this video. Feel free to check out our other videos and, as always, like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Never forget that your smile is your best feature. Wear it proudly. See ya.